All right, today we're going to do something really cool. We are going under the hood of a real live web application. We've got our hands on the complete technical documentation for a learning platform called EduManage Pro, and we're going to use it to see exactly how a complex piece of software is built right from the ground up. Let's dive in. Have you ever used a really complex website and just kind of stopped and thought, how on earth does this all work without just completely falling apart? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore. The secret, it turns out, is all in the architecture, the actual blueprint for the entire system. And we're about to take a guided tour. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the core philosophy, the why behind it all. Then we'll look at the system's actual blueprint and peek inside the engine room. After that, we'll see how features get built. We'll follow a user's action from a single click all the way to completion. And then we'll wrap up with why this kind of structure is so absolutely critical. First things first, the core philosophy. Because, great software that's meant to last, isn't just about writing a bunch of clever code. It's built on a really strong foundation, a set of principles that guides every single decision. This slide right here, this is basically the system's DNA. Modular design just means everything is like a Lego block. You can work on the course features without any fear of breaking, say, the user login system. Separation of concerns. Think of it like a well-run kitchen. The chef cooks, the waiter serves, the dishwasher cleans. Each part has one specific job, and that's what keeps things moving smoothly. Security is baked in from the very start, not just patched on as an afterthought. And role-based access is simple. Students only see student things, and teachers see teacher things. These aren't just buzzwords. They're the rules of the road that prevent total chaos. So all those principles we just talked about, they aren't just abstract ideas. They directly translate into the system's blueprint. This is like the master filing cabinet for the entire application. It defines exactly where every single piece of code lives, and more importantly, why. And here's what that organization looks like in the real world. That assets folder, think of that as all the paint and decorations, the visual styling. The includes folder is the core foundation, kind of like the plumbing and electricity for the house. Modules is where the actual features live. Each one is like a different room in the house. And uploads? Well, that's just the storage closet for anything users upload. See, it's a really simple logical system, a place for everything and everything in its place. Okay, so we know where everything lives, but now for the really fun part. How does it all actually work together? We're heading into the engine room now to understand the powerful design pattern that makes this whole machine run. It's called the MVC-Lite pattern. So what in the world is MVC? Well, it stands for Model, View, and Controller, and honestly, its entire purpose is to stop your code from becoming a giant, tangled plate of spaghetti. Instead of having one massive file trying to handle visuals, logic, and data, MVC enforces that separation of concerns idea we talked about by giving every piece of code one and only one specific job. So, let's break it down. The view is everything you actually see on the screen. The login form, the course catalog, it's the presentation layer. The controller is the doing part. When you click that submit button, the controller is what grabs your information and decides what to do with it. And finally, you have the model. This is the brain of the operation. It's the only part of the system that's allowed to talk directly to the database. It fetches data, it saves data, it handles all the heavy lifting. It's a really clean flow. See, do, think. Okay, so we've got the theory down, we understand the pattern. Now let's see how it's actually applied to build the individual tools in the system's toolbox. Things like managing users or creating a brand new course. This right here is a perfect concrete example. On the left, you've got login.php. That's a view. Its only job is to show you that login box. It's pure presentation. But the second you hit that submit button, your data gets sent over to the file on the right, user-login-action.php. That's the controller. It doesn't show you anything. Its entire purpose is to process your login attempt. And that is the key distinction. One is for showing, the other is for doing. All right, let's tie this all together now. To really make this concept stick, we are going to follow a single user request from the very moment they click their mouse to the exact moment their data is safely stored away. And the story we're going to follow is one we've all been a part of. A new student is signing up for an account. We're going to follow their information as it travels right through the heart of the system. Okay, so watch how this all connects. Step 1, input. The user is on the view register.php, filling in all their details. Then they click submit. Step 2, submission. All that data gets sent to the controller, user_register.php, which checks everything. Is the email actually valid? Do the passwords match? Then, step 3, processing. The controller passes that clean data off to the model, in this case, the user.php class. Step 4, persistence. The model takes that data and safely saves it to the database. And finally, step 5, feedback. The controller sends the user back to the login page with a nice little success message. It's this clean, predictable loop. View to controller, controller to model, and then back again. And right there, deep inside that model layer, we find this little piece of code. And honestly, this is the security by design philosophy in action. The system never stores your actual password. Nope. It uses a super strong cryptographic function to turn it into a totally irreversible jumble of characters called a hash. So when you log in later, it just hashes what you typed and compares the two hashes. It's a fundamental security practice, and it's built right into the core logic where it belongs. So let's zoom back out. Why go through all this trouble? I mean, why is this kind of organization so incredibly important? Well, this section is all about why this structure is what makes the difference between an application that lasts for a year and one that lasts for a decade. And these right here, these are the golden rules, the key takeaways that keep a project from falling apart. Forcing all database code into the model, that prevents massive security holes. Using functions like HTML/C stops hackers from injecting malicious scripts. Redirecting after a form submission, that's what keeps you from accidentally buying the same t-shirt twice online. And soft deletes, just marking data as deleted instead of actually erasing it, is an absolute lifesaver when someone inevitably says, oops. These are the best practices that keep an application stable, secure, and maintainable over the long haul. And that brings us to our final thought. After seeing how all of these different pieces fit together so neatly, it really makes you wonder, is the most important thing in software the flashiest new algorithm, or is a deep, unwavering commitment to good organization the true superpower?